The high school gymnasium buzzed with excitement. Families filled the rows of folding chairs, cameras in hand, waiting eagerly to see their children walk across the stage and receive their diplomas. Bright banners hung from the rafters, and the sound of laughter and applause echoed against the walls. For most, it was a day of joy and pride. But for one man, the moment was about to turn into something far more complicated. Major Richard Hayes, third decorated Black Marine veteran with over 25 years of service, entered the gymnasium wearing his dress blues. The uniform was sharp, every medal pinned perfectly in place, his white gloves tucked neatly into his pocket. His posture was upright, his presence commanding yet humble. He was there for one reason, to see his only son, David, graduate. As Richard made his way to his seat near the middle rows, some heads turned in admiration. A few whispered quietly, recognizing his uniform and the weight of the service it represented. But not everyone reacted the same way. Two security guards, hired by the school for the large event, noticed Richard entering the hall. Neither of them recognized him personally, and the sight of a man in full military uniform unsettled them. The older guard nudged his partner and whispered, "He's not on the guest list. Check him out." The younger guard nodded, straightening his black polo with the word security printed boldly across the chest. They approached Richard as he settled into his seat. "Excuse me, sir," the younger guard said sharply, placing a hand on Richard's shoulder. "This section is reserved. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Richard looked up, calm but confused. "Reserved? I'm here for my son's graduation. My name is Major Hayes." The older guard stepped in, his tone firmer. "Sir, your name isn't on the list we have for this section. You'll need to exit the building." A murmur rippled through the nearby crowd. Families turned their heads, sensing tension. Richard stood slowly, his height and posture immediately drawing attention. He spoke firmly but respectfully. "My son is graduating today. I've served this country for 25 years. I'm not leaving." The younger guard crossed his arms. "You don't get special treatment just because you're wearing a uniform. Rules are rules. If you're not on the list, you're not welcome here." Gasps came from the audience. A woman in the row behind whispered, "That's Major Hayes, he's a Marine." But the guards ignored her. The older one leaned in closer, lowering his voice but still loud enough for others to hear. "Sir, I'm asking you politely. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Leave now." Richard felt a rush of heat in his chest, not because of anger for himself, but because his son was about to walk onto that stage. This day wasn't about him, and he wouldn't let it be ruined. "I'm not leaving," Richard said firmly. "My son deserves to see me here when his name is called." By now, more families were watching. Phones quietly lifted into the air, recording. Whispers spread quickly. Why are they asking him to leave? Who do they think they're talking to? Before the confrontation could escalate further, the principal, Dr. Karen Willis, approached the commotion. She was a woman in her early 50s, respected by students and parents alike. "What seems to be the problem here?" she asked, her voice cutting through the noise. The younger guard gestured at Richard. "He's not on the list for this section, ma'am. We asked him to leave, but he's refusing." Dr. Willis's eyes narrowed as she looked at Richard. Her expression softened immediately when she recognized the uniform and the man. "This is Major Hayes," she said firmly. "He's the father of one of our graduates, and he has every right to be here." The crowd erupted in quiet applause. The guards froze, embarrassment flashing across their faces. But Richard remained calm, his eyes steady. "Thank you, ma'am," he said respectfully, nodding toward Dr. Willis. The guard stepped back, but the damage was done. The crowd had seen everything. The whispers turned into louder conversations, parents shaking their heads at the guard's behavior. As Richard sat back down, a hand touched his shoulder. An elderly man in the row behind leaned forward. "Thank you for your service, sir. Don't let anyone take this moment from you." Richard nodded, his throat tightening with emotion. Minutes later, the ceremony began. Names were called, applause filled the gym, and proud families cheered as their children crossed the stage. Finally, the announcer's voice rang out. "David Hayes." Richard rose to his feet, clapping louder than anyone else in the room. His son walked across the stage, his smile wide as he spotted his father in the crowd. In that instant, the entire confrontation faded away. Nothing mattered except that moment of pride. But the story didn't end there. After the ceremony, parents and students gathered outside. The air was warm, filled with laughter and the clicking of cameras. David ran up to his father, throwing his arms around him. "You made it, Dad," he said, his voice breaking with emotion. "I wouldn't miss it for the world, son," Richard replied, his own eyes glistening. Nearby, the two security guards stood awkwardly, avoiding eye contact. The younger one finally approached, his voice low. "Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't realize who you were." Richard looked at him steadily. "Son, you don't have to know who I am. You just have to treat people with respect. That uniform you wear doesn't give you the right to decide who belongs and who doesn't." The guard swallowed hard, nodding. "Yes, sir." David looked at his father proudly. "You always teach me to stand tall. Today you showed everyone." As the crowd dispersed, several families came up to Richard to shake his hand, thanking him for his service and for the example he had set. The moment had turned from humiliation into inspiration, not just for Richard's son, but for everyone who witnessed it. Because in the end, respect isn't about lists, rules, or uniforms. It's about recognizing dignity, service, and humanity. And on that day in that gymnasium, one Marine reminded everyone what honor truly looks like.